She was wearing ruffled socks and light-up shoes. That's where it started. Not on a tennis court, not in a gleaming training academy, not under the warm glow of stadium lights. On a basketball court in Quezon City, Philippines, where lines had been painted onto the concrete surface to create something resembling a tennis court, a little girl chased down balls with her grandfather and her brother every single day. No one watching her then could have imagined what was coming. But she knew. Somehow, somewhere deep inside, she always knew. On a humid July evening in Washington, D.C., 7,000 fans had packed inside the William H.G. Fitzgerald Tennis Center at Rock Creek Park. The tickets had sold out weeks before the tournament even began. The crowd buzzed with the kind of electric anticipation that only comes when history is close enough to feel. And tonight, history had a name. Alex Eala, 21 years old, from Quezon City, Philippines, and standing one match away from becoming a WTA 500 singles champion, something no Filipino tennis player, male or female, had ever achieved in the history of the sport. Across the net stood the obstacle that made this achievement feel almost unreachable. Jessica Pegula, the world number 3, the tournament's top seed, a player who had amassed 11 WTA singles titles across her career and had reached the final of the United States Open. She was not merely an opponent. She was a wall built from years of experience, raw power, and elite-level composure that only comes from standing at the game's highest levels for a very long time. But Eala had already spent a week tearing down walls that were supposed to hold. The tournament had opened with redemption of the most personal kind. In the first round, she drew Yung Chinwen, the Olympic gold medalist from Chinese Taipei who had broken Eala's heart at the 2023 Asian Games. That defeat had followed her for 3 years, a wound that had not fully closed. But the player who stepped onto the court at the Mubadala City DC Open was not the same player who had walked away from those Asian Games carrying that loss.
She was harder now.
More composed, more complete. When the match reached its most critical moments, she found something extra, winning 4 of the final 5 games to complete a gritty 4-6, 6-4, 6-1 comeback. The head-to-head was now level at 1 match apiece. The ghost had been faced, stared down, and finally erased. Round 2 was a different kind of test, one that reached deeper than shot selection or fitness or tactics. It reached all the way into memory. Standing across the net from her was Leylah Fernandez, the defending champion of this very tournament. More painfully, Fernandez had thoroughly embarrassed Eala in Stuttgart just months before this match. The memory was still raw. The first set of this rematch looked like a complete reversal of their recent history. Eala was extraordinary, dominating 6-2 in just 34 minutes, her ground strokes finding lines with something approaching surgical precision. But the second set turned dark. Fernandez raced to a 5-1 lead. The crowd shifted, the momentum tilted, and the whispers began. Stuttgart all over again. Eala simply refused to hear them. She reeled off 5 consecutive games to move ahead 6-5, then closed out the tiebreak 7-1, sealing the 6-2, 7-6 victory. The defending champion was deposed. The message was delivered with total clarity. This young woman does not quit, does not fold, does not retreat when the moment turns against her. She leans in. The quarterfinal brought a familiar face and a familiar outcome. Elena Svitolina, the tournament's second seed, ranked number 10 in the world, a Ukrainian veteran Eala had already beaten in Berlin just weeks earlier with the exact same scoreline. In Washington, it was 6-3, 6-4. She broke Svitolina's serve 6 times. The performance was clinical, controlled, and devastatingly effective. It was the kind of result that shifts how a tournament field sees you, not as a dark horse, but as the player most likely to be lifting the trophy on Sunday. Then came the semifinal, and history arrived early, before the final even had a chance to begin. For the first time in the history of professional tennis, an all-Asian semifinal took place on a WTA 500 stage. Alex Eala versus Naomi Osaka, 4-time Grand Slam champion, former world number 1, a name that sits alongside the game's all-time greats. The tennis world collectively leaned forward. This was power versus patience. It was legacy versus emergence. It was everything the sport had promised when these two stars had first appeared on the horizon. Eala made it look almost effortless. She won 6-4, 6-2 in just 76 minutes, breaking Osaka's serve 4 times throughout the match and winning 71% of her first serve points. The scoreline was not just comprehensive, it was commanding. After the match, Osaka spoke with characteristic honesty and grace about what she had witnessed. "She's incredible," the 4-time Grand Slam champion said. "I think she's a star, and it's just really cool to have someone like her that people can look up to. For me, I think it's amazing that she's such an inspiration." Even in the moment of her own defeat, Osaka recognized the magnitude of what was unfolding. "I could never count her out," Eala said afterward about facing Osaka. "I had to be so locked in." That unbreakable focus, forged over thousands of hours on a basketball court in Quezon City, was precisely what had carried her here. And now, with one match remaining, it would be tested one final time. The championship. The final. Pegula. Going into the tournament, I looked at the draw, and it was just jam-packed, Eala had said after the semi-final. Big player after big player after big player. To be in the final really means a lot to me. But she had gone further still. She had come to win it. Jessica Pegula arrived at the championship match with the focused intensity of someone who knew exactly what it took to claim a title in Washington. She had won the DC Open back in 2019 and had been chasing a second one ever since. She was ranked 3rd in the world, for good reasons. She had reached the final of the United States Open. And most significantly for this particular matchup, she had ended Eala's run at the 2025 Miami Open in a tightly contested 3-set battle, 7-6, 5-7, 6-3, proving she knew how to close out a match against this specific opponent when the stakes were high. Before the final, Pegula acknowledged the scale of the moment she was entering. "It's going to be a battle," she said. "Alex, I'm a big fan of hers. She's the future of the tour, and she's already here." She was exactly right. Eala was already here, and she arrived at the final more prepared than she had ever been. "I think I would say if I compare myself now to then, I'm more well-rounded," Eala had said before the match, reflecting on her growth since that Miami Open defeat 18 months earlier. "I think I'm physically a little better. I've improved on a couple of my strokes. I think maybe my forehand and my serve have also improved quite a bit." That improvement declared itself from the very first point of the final. Eala came out firing. Her ground strokes were finding their targets with remarkable consistency. Her footwork was crisp, precise, purposeful. She broke Pegula's serve early and never, not for a single game, allowed the American to seize control of the match. Every time Pegula launched a counterattack, Eala had an answer. A perfectly weighted cross-court forehand, a deep backhand that forced her opponent deep behind the baseline, a well-placed serve that denied any comfortable entry into the rally. The consistency that had defined her entire week was not merely present in the final. It was elevated, sharpened, on full display for a stadium crowd that quickly began to sense what was happening. The crowd could feel it building with every game, every point, every rally. And then the final point arrived. The stadium erupted. The scoreboard read 6-3, 6-4. Alex Eala, 21 years old, from Quezon City, Philippines, had accomplished something no Filipino tennis player had ever accomplished before. She had won a WTA 500 singles title. She had defeated the world number 3 in straight sets. She had conquered an entire field of champions across a single remarkable week, an Olympic gold medalist, a defending champion, a world number 10 she had beaten not once but twice in the span of a few weeks, a 4-time Grand Slam winner, and finally the top seed herself. 5 opponents, 10 Grand Slam titles between them, and she had beaten every single one of them. The champion's prize was $252,000, more than 15.4 million Philippine pesos, and the largest single paycheck of her entire professional career. The runner-up position alone would have guaranteed $155,000, roughly 9.4 million pesos, itself one of the biggest paydays of her career. But she hadn't come for the runner-up check. The ranking rewards were equally staggering in their scope. She had entered the Mubadala City DC Open ranked 28th in the world, already a career high and already the highest any Filipino singles player had ever been ranked in the history of professional tennis. Her semi-final victory over Osaka had guaranteed a climb to number 24 with 1,931 ranking points to her name. The championship added another 500 points, propelling her all the way to number 20 in the world. A jump of 8 places in a single tournament week. To understand just how significant that is, after her historic run at Wimbledon, Eala had earned 240 ranking points and climbed to number 28. In Washington, she had already nearly matched that total before stepping onto the court for the final. The title gave her more ranking points in 1 week than an entire Grand Slam campaign had yielded. That is not simply progress. That is transformation. The financial picture told an equally extraordinary story. The $252,000 champion's check arrived in the context of a year that had already seen her become the Philippines' highest-earning tennis player of all time. She had earned $300,000 from Wimbledon and $332,160 from the Miami Open in 2025. Combined with her Washington prize money and her endorsement deals, her total earnings for the year had pushed well past the $2 million mark. The Washington title was the crown jewel of a season that had also included a WTA 125 title in Birmingham and a semi-final appearance in Berlin. "That sounds so surreal," she had said earlier in the week when told about her potential ranking rise. "That sounds actually crazy, but I'm super proud of it." The numbers do not lie. And neither did the moment. But for Alex Eala, the numbers have never really been the point. 10,000 miles away from Washington, D.C., an entire nation had stayed awake to witness it, and now an entire nation erupted in celebration. The Philippines, all 127 million people, poured into the streets and onto social media simultaneously. From the neighborhoods of Quezon City, where Eala's journey had begun on that basketball court with hand-painted tennis lines, to the crowded sports bars of Manila packed with fans who had rearranged their schedules, canceled plans, and stayed up through the night to watch every single match of this tournament run. The celebration was immediate, overwhelming, and deeply personal. It was the feeling of a nation seeing itself reflected in one extraordinary young woman. Social media flooded. Eala-mania trended for hours across multiple platforms. Filipino communities scattered across the globe, healthcare workers in the United States, domestic workers in the Middle East, students and professionals in Europe, had adjusted their lives around her match schedule. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who had already honored Eala at a formal Malacanang Palace reception following her Wimbledon breakthrough, was among the very first to send his congratulations. During that earlier palace reception, Marcos had addressed her directly. "You have brought so much pride to the Philippines, to the Filipinos, not only because of your success but also because of the grace with which you handled that success. The way you play and the way you comport yourself makes us proud because you show the greatest, best qualities of Filipinos. You remind us why we are a great race." After Washington, those words carried an entirely new weight. Marcos had noted, in the aftermath of earlier tournament runs, that hospitals around the world had effectively paused when she played, that nurses and doctors and healthcare professionals had found moments between their duties to watch even a few games. That is not the story of a country casually following a tennis tournament. That is the story of a nation recognizing something of itself, its resilience, its refusal to be underestimated, its quiet and unstoppable determination, in the movement of one young woman across a tennis court half a world away. "I'm so proud to be Pinoy," Eala had said during her homecoming reception after Wimbledon. "I think that's one thing that I share with everybody, the love of being Pinoy and the pride of being Pinoy. So, I do my best to showcase that." In Washington, she had done something far greater than simply showcase it. She had inscribed it permanently into the record books of a sport played in every corner of the world. The media had begun referring to her as a nation unifier. She brushed the label aside with characteristic humility. She was just happy to have a positive impact on the community, she said, but the impact itself was beyond any debate. She had brought together a nation of more than 127 million people around a shared dream, and she had delivered on every part of it, withholding nothing, giving everything she had in every match, every set, every game. "When you feel this much love, it's hard to get used to," she had said after her semi-final victory. "It always brings a new sentiment, always brings a new type of feeling." After the final, holding the championship trophy under the Washington sky with confetti still drifting softly down around her, the feeling was something that doesn't yet have a proper name. The specific, unrepeatable feeling of being the first Filipino in the entire history of the sport to stand on a WTA 500 podium as champion. She had begun with ruffled socks and light-up shoes on a basketball court in Quezon City, training every day with her grandfather and her brother, with painted lines standing in for the real thing. And now she held the real thing, a WTA